Hi, I'm Nicole Thompson, Executive Director of the Lab on Dexter, and welcome to Lab Talk. Lab Talk is a candid conversation centered around entrepreneurship, tech, talent, and innovation.
Hi, I'm Cherie Stokes, Executive Director with Tech MGM, and it is a blast having our final episode of this season. We've had an opportunity to talk about everything from accelerator programs to experiencing Montgomery to how we're looking at tech and innovation across the entire city. And now for our final episode, it's the banger. We get to talk about talent. And we're so happy today to have the president of Alabama State University, Dr. Quinton T. with us. Thank you for not only visiting Lab Talk, but coming to bring all the energy and everything that you've been able to do over at Alabama State University.
Well, listen, thank you for having me. And let me just tell both of you what a phenomenal job that you all have been doing. This is a new energy. This is the new way of life here in Montgomery. And so we're excited about the lab at Dexter.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I mean, we've been able to partner on many initiatives throughout the years. Me personally, I've gotten a chance to work with you and your staff, which has been phenomenal. But what makes Alabama State so great to me is honestly the talent, the students that you have there. With the work that we've been able to do on a Tech MGM perspective, a lot of those talent initiatives is drawing on not just the academic expertise that you have there, but it's also how you're preparing your students to really go out into industry. And I love the phrase that you have, Communiversity. So what I want you to really tell our listeners and our viewers, what does that mean to you? Define Communiversity to all those that have never heard the term before, but also talk about how it helps us to impact the ecosystem that we live in every day.
Well, listen, and thank you all again. I always tell people I have the greatest students in the world as well as the greatest faculty and staff and leadership team. And Communiversity, it's not a new term. When you think about Communiversity, it's the collaboration between institutions of higher education and the communities in which they reside in. A long time ago, John O'Killens, as well as others back in the early 1960s, talked about Communiversity and how institutions have to work together within the community that they're in order to thrive and also provide a service to those within the community. And so we've adopted that, started back in October, on October 3rd, 2017, as a matter of fact. And it has been ingrained throughout the institution. And so through partnerships like these with the Lab on Dexter, we expose our students to the best and the greatest new inventions, innovations. And so that's how you're able to contribute not only to what the students learn, but also contribute to what they can provide for the community at large. So we're excited about it. It's one of our we have 7 anchors in our strategic plan. It's number 4. So it's a part of Alabama State University to make sure that we have partnerships with the city, the Lab on Dexter, and so many others to expose our students to create that pipeline for anything that is a need for great talent. So Communiversity is what we're about.
Good deal. All in on the Communiversity. And honestly, we're happy to be not just a partner, but happy to be woven into the strategic plan and the development of your students and your university as a whole. And I think Nicole certainly has spoken to and will continue to speak to some of the entrepreneurship initiatives that we've been able to do with Alabama State University and kind of even plugging into building those entrepreneurs within our own community.
That's right. And so to go back to your point, when you talk about Communiversity, I wanted to just kind of briefly circle to the point that some institutions reside in cities and their city alone. I appreciate how Alabama State has changed the narrative for this community and has always been an anchor in this community. I don't think you can speak of the history of Montgomery, from civil rights to anything that you talk about Montgomery without mentioning Alabama State. And so the way we see it is it's a talent pipeline and it's a feeder that's right there. So part of our mission is to amplify talent, whether it's entrepreneurship, tech, innovation. And we are coming right to Alabama State because you all have demonstrated how you are a willing partner and you're not on an island on the campus. So we appreciate that.
No, and we're thankful for it, and it's across disciplines, really. While we have a great College of Business. But when you talk about our health sciences, when you talk about our technology area, or even when you talk about our criminal justice program, all of those areas are areas that are significant to cities and communities. And so to partner with you all to give the students the up close and personal opportunity to experience the various careers and occupations is phenomenal. And I think they walk away with those things that they need in order to be successful. And we'd like to keep them here in Montgomery
I was just thinking
and
that,
in the
talking
state of
about
Alabama.
talent.
And as you develop that talent, what you pour into them, then they get that feel of home and wanting to stay here. So I think what you all are doing is phenomenal, and it will help as we begin to continue to give breath to that pipeline for all of our industry that's here, not only in the river region, but in the state of Alabama. And of course,
Right.
you know that's one of the governor's goals, to make sure that we keep our talent here
That's
in
right.
the state of Alabama. And so all of us working together collectively, I think we accomplish that.
Now, I'll say you're talking my language now because you're talking to the industry partnerships, but you're also talking to STEM. You all have done tremendous work from a STEM perspective, everything from robotics. You're now the host for a best robotics competition and have done that for the last few
Thank you.
years. I mean,
Yes.
it's huge.
Yeah.
It's a big deal on being able to truly expose students to what technology is, but exposing students at an early age. But you've also had partnerships with everyone from NASA to others for STEM, as well as, you know, partnerships, like you said, on the health science side. Huge for me to, one, be able to see that and what you're doing as a university, but would love for you to speak a little bit about on how it's been able to help the university itself and the students that you have by strengthening those partnerships with industry.
Well, the partnerships with industry, I mean, again, the exposure that we're able to give to our students in any area that they want to go in. You know, you mentioned the partnerships with the city. We have one with Montgomery Public School in STEM, our Gear Up grant, which starts at an early age. But all of that creates a pipeline not only for you, but it creates a pipeline for the institution when we can start out early. But just take an example of the Alabama Realtors Association and us partnering with them to give exposure to our students, not necessarily to become realtors, but to give them what it takes in order to be a homeowner, right? And that's
Awesome.
impact. That is impact, which is one of our 5 core values. And it gives them the sense of what it is to be a home buyer. But then what that does is impact the overall economic standing for them and their families. The partnerships we have with KPMG in terms of, you know, the marketing, the accounting, all of those things are important. And so when you talk in terms of entrepreneurship and exposing them to entrepreneurship, when they see partnerships like that and they're able to come to the lab on Dexter, or you all give them that opportunity to really learn about entrepreneurship, then what we have done is homebred individuals who are going to be, you know, great in the marketing aspect, who are great in the real estate aspect. And so we just have to continue to forge those partnerships throughout. And I tell people all the time, we'll make partnerships here locally, but all over the country. Even the partnerships that we have with other institutions. You mentioned Trenum, to make sure, because not only are you all developing them entrepreneur-wise, you're developing them to go on to become interested in 4-year degrees. And so all of that makes for just a great opportunity for student success, which we're all
That's right.
what we all are geared toward.
No, I absolutely appreciate it. And I'll tell you, just today, I had a phone call with someone that was looking for an institution to be able to partner with for competitive IT jobs. They're looking for future cloud engineers, software engineers, but they basically said, we will take almost any degree program because once they start working with us, this is exactly what they want to do.
Exactly.
And we found that how universities are now preparing students, they're preparing them for technical jobs. And so it was, one, encouraging to see that, yes, they're looking at Montgomery, but then 2, they're looking at Alabama State to be able to do that. And
It's
so
a win for our community.
it is.
It's a
it
huge
absolutely
win.
is. So I told her, I said, well, I think I'll see the president
Oh,
today.
yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
said,
We
and
welcome it.
you know, I'm excited about being able to tell him, hey, you've probably got 5 to 10 internships that are coming your way for your students, and these are paid internships working with top 500 company
It's a game
doing
changer.
IT work and being able to have that exposure. That type of development and pipeline, I think that's what we're all in for when it comes to student success.
I agree. And, all of our institutions of higher learning have to retool themselves. It's no longer that you just go to college and get a 4-year degree. When our students walk through the door, they're looking for the career. What's their next move? And so we have to be prepared. And so that's why we have to think outside of the box, create these partnerships to expose them to those type of opportunities and give them that hands-on experience. I always tell our students, don't ever look at something for face value. Do the drill down, right? When you look at Starbucks, don't look at just buying a cup of coffee. Look at who's doing the marketing, who's the lawyer, who's doing the business plan. And so you have to really do the drill down. And these partnerships, these type of partnerships, really open us up to that when corporations open their doors and allow our students to participate in meaningful ways. It really does something for them and helps them to make the next move in their life.
And I think we would be negligent if we didn't talk about the economic development of what these type of programs and partnerships does for our community. I wanted to just ask, what's on the forefront for Alabama State next? Like, what's the big next thing that's coming down the pipeline that you want to share with us? Because every time I look up, there is something rolling out that Alabama State is doing.
Well, that's like a trick question, right? It's like, we have so many things, but even when you think of something just as simple as the Honda Battle of the Bands, right? When you look at this 35-year relationship with Honda and them supporting HBCUs, and always when you have the Honda Battle of the Bands, you host it at a big stadium, normally in Atlanta, but then to say we're coming back out of COVID and we want to make it extremely meaningful, and we want to do it on an HBCU campus. And for Alabama State University to have been selected to be the host of the Honda Battle of the Band is huge. And when you talk about the divergence on, the city of Montgomery, people coming from all over the country, and of course Honda headquarters is in California, so everybody coming from the West Coast here, that is major. So that's one thing that we're looking forward to just around the corner in February. There are a lot of other things I could talk about, but I can't release them yet.
Well,
but
then
you'll see the rollout, right? You'll see the rollout. Right?
When you talked about beds and people coming, it reminded me of our conversation with Ron Simmons when we were talking about quality of place and what happens when these organizations come to Montgomery. It's a trickle-down effect for our dollars and our community. So that's when I say economic development is happening right with the partnerships. And so we're excited about that.
Indeed, and we're just excited about all the partnerships that we have with the city, because even when you play a football game, the economic impact with people coming back to this area, the beds that people are sleeping in, the restaurants they're going to. And so all of that is a part of Communiversity, making sure that you're having an impact on the area in which you reside. And that's one of the reasons why we champion Communiversity at Alabama State University.
This is awesome.
It is. As we wrap up this segment, definitely come back because we've got lots more to talk about with Dr. Ross.
Experience Montgomery. While it may be a place you've heard of for its past, the success stories that will be told in the future are being written today. Centered in the heart of Alabama, Montgomery caters to tomorrow's leaders with a booming tech scene that's met with a vibrant nightlife, arts and culture, and unique ways to spark the adventure in all of us. Come start your story today.
Hi, I'm Cherie Stokes, Executive Director of Tech MGM.
And I'm Nicole Thompson, Executive Director of the Lab on Dexter. And you are with us in our final segment of the season of Lab Talk. Lab Talk is a candid conversation centered around all things entrepreneurship, tech, and innovation.
We are so pleased and just excited again to have with us today Dr. Quinton T. Ross, the president of Alabama State University. You've spoken to us about Communiversity. You've spoken to us about talent and the students that you have at your university. What I'd like to talk about even more is what is it like to experience Alabama State University? What is it like not just coming to the campus, but what are you bringing people to at your university?
Wait a minute, did you see his face light up? Like he's
I mean, did you really ask that question? It's like, but no, really. And it's really a situation where you have to come to really touch it and feel it. But with all of the activity that we have on campus, from our theater department with the plays that we have Dream Girls running at this particular time, to our athletic events. But then you also talk about the historical perspective, our National Center of Civil Rights and the Levi Watkins Learning Center. So much around Alabama State University has contributed to the many changes that have taken place across the country. We're one of the only HBCUs that has an interpretive center on its campus.
Yeah.
So, I always tell people, come by and visit us. We open our doors to visitors to come and touch and feel what Alabama State University. When you walk on those hollow grounds, you can't help but to feel the excitement and understand its true purpose there at Alabama State University.
It's been interesting to me to kind of hear what so many people have been saying recently with respect to HBCUs, but I think it's not all talk for me. It's really about educating people on what an HBCU is, but then even more importantly, the benefits that you're receiving by attending that HBCU, by visiting that HBCU, and even more so for those that are in and outside of our community supporting the HBCUs that are in your community. From a support perspective, how can people truly provide support to your university, be it your faculty and staff, your students, your initiatives? I think our listeners need to understand, what is it like to be able to support such a university like the one that you have the opportunity to be the president of?
Well, listen, that's a phenomenal question. And let me thank you. First and foremost, I have to let people know that, listen, HBCU is a designation that was given to elite institutions of higher learning. And that's what our colleges are. The federal government gave us that designation, and so and it's because of the disproportionate and the underserved institutions compared to our other sister institutions. But we have always done more with less, and that, we don't run away from that. But I think that in order to really feel and touch it, that you have to get involved with the institution, as you said. And there are many ways that people can contribute. And we look for mutually beneficial partnerships. And it's not all about money. Sometimes it's just about the support. And so if you want to support the faculty and staff, if there's something that you have to offer in training, whether it be through professional development. We want to take the professional development training that you have and provide it to our faculty and staff. Entrepreneurship, as you all are doing, to provide to our students. So we want the money, right? And the money makes a difference, because when you look at the students that we have on campus and some of the backgrounds that they come from, our goal is to make sure that they get across the finish line, that they graduate. And so we're always accepting contributions. We'll be clearing balances for graduates that are coming up, and we've done that for the last five years, because some of them get to the finish line and just can't make it. But just think about, living your dream and getting that close to a diploma and can't go because of $1,000. And so we ask people to support us in that way financially through our foundation, but support our programs. I talked about Dream Girls. Show up at a play, because that helps encourage the students, that gives them that confidence that they need to go on and be successful. Brandon McCall, he is in Lion King. He's the older Simba, and he graduated from Alabama State University. But I think he can think back to when someone came from the community to support that effort. Bonita Hamilton, who was my classmate, she still dances in the Lion King. But they all started at Alabama State in the theater program with people coming to support them. Our choir will be at True Divine, because they're going to Carnegie Hall to perform. Go out and support them, and let the students know that you're really concerned about their well-being. And we take that too. That's a great partnership.
That's awesome. Yeah. And it really made me think about what we talked about in our previous segment about you being in the community, being a part of the community. So we want the community to, in return, visit the campus to support. And you don't have to have gone to an HBCU to advocate or support HBCUs. And I want to talk about this term really quickly, go to know. Tell us about go to know. What does that mean, and how can we go to know?
Well, so just that the community knows, I'm adopting hornets every day, right? And then, but that's a term that I use particularly with my leadership team, because in order for us to know what's going on campus, we have to go to know. We just can't sit back and think that we're going to figure it out.
Right.
We have to be involved, and so that spreads out into the community, into a church down the street. You want to know what's happening at Alabama State University? Go to know. You know, my great friend, Dr. Jay Cooper, is the pastor over at First United Methodist. I mean, they really took it to heart, and he brought his leadership team over to Alabama State University and had a full-day retreat at Alabama State. You know, I've had the Legislative Reference Service to come over from the Alabama legislature to have a retreat on campus. And so they could touch and feel it and see all the things that we have to offer. Again, going back to that global term of Communiversity, where you have a collaboration between the institution as well as the community. And it makes everyone feel so much better, feel welcome,
Right.
Because we want everyone to enjoy the benefits of Alabama State University sitting in this community. And so we're just excited about it. So you have to go to know.
That's right. Well, listen, I know because I go, but I appreciate you just sharing. This conversation has been full circle. We've talked about tech, talent, entrepreneurship. We've talked about the university, your programs, how you're involved in the community and how the community can get involved with Alabama State. So I just want to close us here by thanking you for taking the time. This is one of your busiest weeks of the year, and you took the time to sit down with us today, and we value that.
What better place?
Exactly.
Right,
this is
that's
true,
right.
but it is very telling, and it speaks to your commitment to community.
Yes, thank
so we are going to close our segment. Sharice, we made it.
We did. It was
Excellent.
our final episode, but it's been an awesome season, and we've had a phenomenal time.
It has, and I want to just thank our audience. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sending in questions, for viewing our podcast. Look forward to season 2. You can catch Lab Talk on wherever you watch your podcast, whether that be Spotify, Apple, or whatever your preferred streaming device or service is. Thank you for joining us, and this is the final episode of Lab Talk Season 1. You've been listening to the Lab on Dexter's podcast, Lab Talk. We look forward to you joining us again on our next episode.